Elizabeth.
Thank you, Steve. Well, American Sniper is the highest-grossing war-themed movie ever.
Are you Chief Chris Kyle?
Yes, sir.
My name is Mads. We met in Fallujah. You saved my life.
Well, a story about one of our nation's bravest, Chris Kyle, up for 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. While there has been endless support for Kyle and his family, the film has also received critique and criticism. The big question, will American Sniper take home the win? Our next guest served alongside Chris Kyle in combat and starred next to Bradley Cooper in the film, an extraordinary and unique position to be in. Joining us now is retired Navy SEAL Kevin Lacz. Kevin, first of all, I want to thank you for your service, and secondly, for being with Fox and Friends today.
Thank you for having me on.
So what are your thoughts here? I mean, moving into this weekend with American Sniper really leading the pack in terms of military film, what does it mean to you, having served alongside Chris Kyle and knowing him well, that they could take home the win this weekend?
You know, it's a special weekend. It's a good validation for the producers, the filmmakers, the guys that brought this all together and brought the story out there. And it's the validation for the people in the movie process. The validation for me is, you know, to see veterans really respond to this film and be happy with it, because Chris was the personification of American exceptionalism, and it's shown through in the movie, and it's also shown through in real life. So we're glad that, you know, everybody who's a part of it in the filmmaking process, but also those of us in real life, that story's out there for everybody to see.
Absolutely. Would you, in your mind, would a victory here this weekend really silence, in a way, though they have a right to say it, those that came out with such anger and misinterpretation of what American Snipers are about, what Chris Kyle was about?
Right. I don't know if it'll silence. I think it may be the response to a lot of the criticism. You know, people, they can have their own criticism. That's fine. But, you know, what does it for us is the fact that, you know, this movie has touched a lot of people, a lot of veterans. I get so much positive support of, you know, this is our story as in addition to Chris's story. And that's all the validation I need in the people that have served.
Well said. Best film that I've seen for sure. How did you actually get involved? Is it true you were training Bradley Cooper for the role and it was his suggestion?
Right. I was training Bradley with my buddy Rick Wallace, who's a former SEAL, and we were 2 hours into it, and Bradley looks up and says, "You ever think about playing yourself in the movie?" And it caught me off guard. And my biggest thing was make sure you look like Chris, make sure you hit targets. And we went out to dinner the next night, and he's like, "I got to tell Clint, you have to be in the movie." So the casting director called me a few days later. I got some sides, auditioned on an iPhone, sent him in, and then Jeff Micklak, the casting director, called me back and said, I showed it to Clint. Clint says, "Boy's damn good, get him a job." So next thing you know is history, and I got a spot in the movie.
I will second that. I saw that. I absolutely love your scene. It's one of the most moving in the film. Knowing Chris Kyle and having the experience of working next to Bradley Cooper as well, what did Bradley do so well to really capture who Chris Kyle was?
Right. Like I said, Chris is the embodiment of American exceptionalism, and he had that presence. You know, Chris being from Texas, he was a large individual, but he was also a big person, and he was big-hearted, and he would fill that room, fill that space. And Bradley's portrayal on screen just shows that. He dominates the scenes, and that's how Chris was. Chris was a dominant force, but he wasn't one that would seek out, you know, the attention, seek out the praise. He deflected to the people around him, and, you know, Bradley, you know, shows true respect for the brotherhood, and that meant the world to Chris, and I think that's what really seals the deal with the movie.
Wow. So for Oscar fans out there, on a lighter note, A, will you be watching? Will you be going? And then lastly, what do you think about the fact that having a fake baby in the film could actually prevent a victory here at the Oscars? Your thoughts?
Man, you know, before I started this process, I really wasn't a film critic. I'd just go and watch a movie. But I'm biased. I hope we win. It's a great testament to, you know, the Kyle name, and, you know, everybody's responded very positively. So I hope we win. I think we're going to win. In regards to the fake baby, I wasn't there on set that day. You know, I think baby number 1 was sick, number 2 didn't show, so it was a really tough spot for the boss to be in, and they made it happen. But, you know, the arm wave was a little, yeah, it's a little tough to watch.
Oh, you were so honest and refreshing. I have to thank you again for your service, the retired Navy SEAL.
Appreciate it.
Lacz, we thank you for being here. Hey, and we'll be watching. We have big hopes for American Sniper.
Us too. Thank you.
Thanks.